What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant, and this was a 12-rounder for the interim WBC super-middleweight world championship. And this fight was Saturday, March 25th, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this fight was broadcast on a Showtime pay-per-view. And in this fight, David Benavidez was able to get a unanimous decision victory over Caleb Plant. So in this fight, I scored the bout 117 to 111 in favor of David Benavidez. I did agree with one judge who scored a 117-111 in Benavidez's favor, and the other two had a 116-112 and 115-113, all respectively, in favor of Benavidez. So Benavidez definitely won this fight. His work in the later rounds dominated. I mean, he looked really, really good in the later rounds. But just to break this fight down round by round, or actually just before that, comment down below how you scored this fight. If you did watch it, I would imagine it's somewhere around like 116, 112, 117, 111, somewhere around there, like 8-4, 9-3 in favor of Benavidez. But just to break it down round by round, the first half of this fight was actually pretty close. Really, really close, actually. After 6 rounds, I had it 57-57. The first round was a feel-out round, could have went either way. But Benavidez was pressing the action a bit, so I gave him that round. Round 2, I gave to Caleb Plant. He did really nice boxing with fast combinations. Round 3 was a really, really close swing round. Could have really went either way if I'm going to be 100% honest, but I just edged it slightly in favor of David Benavidez. But like I said, it was a real swing round, one of the closest rounds of the fight, that third round. But like I said, just edged it to Benavidez. Then rounds 4 and 5, I gave them both to Caleb Plant. Plant was boxing pretty nicely, getting some nice shots in, working on the outside. But one thing to mention throughout this entire fight is that Caleb Plant was holding so much, and it was just so annoying how much he was holding. It was not fun to watch, and he should have definitely got docked a few points for it. But luckily for him, the referee, Kenny Bayless, didn't do anything. Didn't even give him a warning for the holding. But then from round 6 all the way until round 12, I gave them all to David Benavidez. Starting in the 6th round, Benavidez started to press even more. He started to pressure, started to cut off the ring better, and Plant started to slow down. Same in round 7, Benavidez really just kept picking it up, and Plant was gradually going down in his output, and he was not able to keep up with Benavidez at that point in the fight. And that's when he started to get broken down and beaten up. As in the 8th round, Plant was really hurt, backed up, he was beat up, and he looked like he was on his way out. Then around number 9, this was a big round for Benavidez. He was just pressing Caleb Plant, battering him with big shots. Plant was just holding, trying to survive. He had a big cut on above the bridge of his nose. He was bleeding all over his face. His eyes were swollen. He was getting beat up. Then the 10th round, another big round for David Benavidez. Same in round 11. But then in the 12th round, although it was a Benavidez round, Caleb Plant actually did fight with a lot of heart. He was really hurt. It looked like he was on his way out. His cornerman told him he was going to stop the fight if he didn't show him something. But he went out there, threw some nice fast combinations, but overall the better work in that round was from Benavidez, who was visibly hurting Plant with his shots. So nonetheless, this was a pretty entertaining fight, obviously because it was so hyped up, and because of obviously the bad blood between the two. But I mean, even though Caleb Plant had a lot of excessive holding earlier on in the fight, especially late when he was hurt, it was still a fun fight and entertaining fight to watch. I watched it with my family, and it was fun yelling at the TV whenever Plant was hurt or Plant was backed up or anything. It was just a fun card as well, a very good, well put together pay-per-view show. But getting this victory for David Benavidez, now 27-0, I believe so. So this goes in the question, what is next for him? Like I said, I believe he's now 27-0. Is still the interim WBC world champ at 168. Obviously, the fight we all want to see him face or go against is Canelo Alvarez. That's the one man everyone wants to see him face. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen next because, I mean, there's just a lot of things in boxing, politics, everything. So, I mean, obviously the fights we want to see David Benavidez in are like Jermall Charlo, Canelo Alvarez, those two guys, and they definitely could fight on Showtime. And we've seen both of them fight on Showtime pay-per-view cards before, Maybe not Jamal Charlo, but, or actually, yeah, I mean, both of them are pay-per-view fighters who fought in pay-per-view. Obviously, Canelo Alvarez, and then Jamal Charlo. I believe he's had a pay-per-view card before, and now David Benavidez having his share, fighting on a pay-per-view card here against Caleb Plant, which I would assume did pretty good. It got pretty good views, pretty good buys, because it was a very good card, might I say. Like I said before, but obviously, like I'm saying about what could be next for David Benavidez. Obviously, what comes to mind is Canelo Alvarez and Jamal Charlo. But if not that, maybe we could see David Benavidez face a decent level, pretty solid, like super middleweight contender who's like top 10, just inside the rankings, just outside it maybe, somewhere around there. But most likely the fights that we want to see him face obviously are those Charlo fights, the Canelo fights, etc. But as for Caleb Plant losing here for the second time in his career, this is a very tough loss for him because obviously there was so much bad blood going into it. But for Caleb Plant, I think we should expect him to get back into the ring against maybe a decent level, top 15 level contender, get a solid win, and then continue moving himself back up into title contention because he's still one of the top super middleweights in the world. But obviously he's coming off a loss here, so he has to continue on building himself back up into that position in the sanctioning bodies and their rankings. So overall, David Benavidez turns it on late to ultimately defeat Caleb Plant by unanimous decision to remain undefeated and to remain the interim WBC super middleweight world champ. And again, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.